Hello, divine people, Saki here. Many of you have surely heard or perhaps played an ONIMUSHA game.
Who is that?
If you haven't, please fix that immediately. Okay, now that you're back after playing this amazing gem, let's talk about ONIMUSHA. So, ONIMUSHA is set in the Sengoku period, at the very beginning of Oda Nobunaga's rise to power, where Nobunaga himself will serve as an antagonist for almost the entire series, until he gets replaced by a successor, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, as one of ONIMUSHA's main villains of ONIMUSHA 4. For some reason, Capcom seems to love portraying Nobunaga and Hideyoshi as two power-hungry monsters in their games. Like most of Capcom's old titles, the most iconic thing about, and most discussed, of ONIMUSHA, it's the gameplay. It's an hack and slash combined with a survival horror formula of Resident Evil. This makes it a great Resident Evil alternative, where instead of running from enemies and saving ammos, you can just focus on slashing enemies and leveling up your equipment. No, trust me bro, it is fun. Each level gets tougher and tougher, making your whole experience a nightmare if you haven't prepared yourself enough for the fight that comes next. And let's not forget, ONIMUSHA keeps some of the horror, puzzles, and jump scares elements from Resident Evil, which will make your experience more difficult if you don't learn how to survive and solve certain puzzles properly in order to progress the game. Please, enough with the puzzles. This kind of variety is well appreciated, and it's definitely what makes this game so fun to replay, since it doesn't really get repetitive. There are many fans who waits for a comeback of the series, but unfortunately, as loud as they sound, Capcom doesn't seem to catch the call for the desperate people who wants to see a return of the series, especially since during the ending of ONIMUSHA 4, Kane, one of the many playable characters in the game, continued the journey and succeeded in Soki, the main protagonist of the 4th title. Which is a very big tease for many, since Akane was a really great character, and a callback to ONIMUSHA 2, due to her being the granddaughter of Yagyu Jubei. It's almost been 10 years since ONIMUSHA 4 was released, and we have been left with that one big tease of an ending. And the closest thing we got was ONIMUSHA Warlords as a remaster, which had low sales surprisingly. However, this is only Capcom's fault for not having advertised the game properly or made on ONIMUSHA 5 first. In fact, I heard that there aren't many physical copies of ONIMUSHA Warlords Remaster, and that's surprising. But I mean, that would have been the best step for the revival, which is an ONIMUSHA 5, really, or I don't know, any proper sequel, I guess. No doubt Capcom is doing great without ONIMUSHA. However, making a test with a remaster of the first game was a big mistake, especially since they've used the PS2/PC version as a base, when they add ONIMUSHA Genma, which is a more upgraded version with more content, but unfortunately stuck on the Xbox Classic. So I'm assuming ONIMUSHA Genma not being made as a remaster might have something to do with licensing issues, or maybe they could not find the code. But it's a shame really, because that version really has some cool ass content. ONIMUSHA 1 is not even the best ONIMUSHA game out there. Okay, I said it. I'm sorry. I said it. When you have ONIMUSHA 2, 3, and 4, can you blame me for preferring those other titles? They have much more playability and way more content than the first one. Because unfortunately, as good as the first one is, it's really short and can be completed in a very few hours. The ONIMUSHA with the most potential, it's definitely the 4th one, where it includes a lot of RPG elements, including the ability to switch among many different characters like the previous 2 titles. Sleeping on that one, it's really the most underestimated thing that Capcom could possibly do. For some reason, ONIMUSHA is not the only game based on the Sengoku period that was abandoned. Capcom have abandoned the development of future Sengoku Basara games, literally the best Musou clone ever made. This was also due to the poor sales received from their last title, Sengoku Basara Sanada Den, which is translated in English, it's Sengoku Basara Legend of Yukimura. However, this last Basara title was not made by the original Basara producer and director, yet Capcom seems to have their ass burned about this for some reason. Coming back to Onimusha, you know what an epic comeback would have been? That instead of just releasing the first chapter, why not add the second game too? Having a dual G remaster instead of that one single Onimusha game that it's not even the game version was like kinda meh. Like Onimusha 2 has way more replayability, like I said, than at first. With his new protagonist, Yagi Jubei, and other new companions that you'll be able to take control temporarily during his journey. But, of course, Capcom always seems to be way too cautious when it comes to remastering a series, especially something that hasn't been heard of from a long time. Onimusha's fanbase is still there, loud and clear. However, if we can be louder and extra clear, we might be able to bring back this franchise back to life and suck some game muscles with our favorite Oniganto. I do believe Capcom has the potential and skill to make a new Onimusha that will far surpass the previous titles. I am more confident about it. Yes, I'm betting on Capcom about this one. Thank you, divine people, for following me this far, and I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Well, let me know what you think in the comments. If you like Onimusha, if you have played Onimusha, or you got introduced with Onimusha as a kid, like me. So let me know in the comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.